If y'all want to cancel the order, go to Wendy's or something. I don't blame y'all, for real.
Have you ever had a breakdown on the cook line? I call it going on tilt. Essentially, you reach almost like a panic state and your brain feels like scrambled eggs. Usually the reason why is because the rhythm has been thrown off, the kitchen's rhythm. The kitchen is the heart of the restaurant, and the brigade is like the pulse. So if the rhythm is off, the heart's messed up, and the kitchen dies. So what are some things that can throw off the kitchen's rhythm? Well, one of the biggest culprits is food needing to be remade. That's a huge one. There's a lot of things that can cause the food needing to be remade. Things like miscommunication, misunderstanding, nerves. Now, a newer cook usually is the one that has a misunderstanding or has the nerves, but it can happen to anybody, especially if you are caught flat-footed. Usually with new cooks, what'll happen is they may have made chicken Alfredo 100,000 times, right? But for some reason, their nerves got the better of them. They're, there for their first week, and for some reason, they just forget how to make this stuff. And a lot of the reason why is because when you learn a recipe, when there's something that you have developed over time and you know how to do it, even if it's just for argument's sake, let's say that you know how to make chicken Alfredo at home and you know how to make it from scratch and you've made it 100 times from scratch at your house. When we get thrown into a new situation, it's almost like your brain has to relearn how to do things in that new situation. I was in boxing a while back and I practiced my ass off. I sparred, but all of the training, being in the training in the gym, in the boxing gym, and being out in front of, it was only 150 people. I was 17, right? But being out in front of those people and traveling down south where it's hotter and being in a new hotel room and being out in front of everybody for the first time, wearing 4-ounce gloves instead of 16-ounce gloves. All of these little things screwed with me. So when the bell rang, a lot of my training just went poof. And that can happen to new cooks as well. Not just cooks new to the industry, but people new from job to job. Misunderstanding. Now, I said this could happen to new cooks, but it could happen to anybody. Maybe you hear somebody reading a ticket off and you think, oh, I need to fire that. Or the other thing that can happen, I've seen a lot of bravado from new cooks, and they will hear a ticket and they'll think oh, if I just get this out really quick, I can show them that I can make food really fast. I'll be really good at what I do. And so they make their whatever, their shrimp dish or whatever. They're on saute and they just bust it out, put it in the window, be and then they slam it down and they're super proud of themselves. Oh my God, I just got this done. I got it done at lightning speed. But it's people haven't even finished making the appetizers yet, right? So it's you shouldn't have started that. But these kind of things, now you have to remake the dish and you've wasted food product and it actually backfires on the new cook a lot of times. Miscommunication. Now, this can happen in the front or the back of house. Easy example, allergens. I just did a Serve Safe video on allergens. It's going to be posted later this week. But say they have a tree nut allergy, your dish has walnuts. Now, you can't just pick the walnuts off. You have to remake it. And not only do you have to remake it, but you have to take into account anything that would have touched the walnuts, or anywhere that the walnuts would have touched now has to be completely cleaned, sanitized, wiped down, start fresh. Maybe you need to prep things in a different area. And this completely throws off the rhythm of the kitchen because while you're doing this, somebody has to do the thing that you're doing in order to make sure the rest of the food gets out. Expo, maybe they're not communicating rush items, or maybe they're new or whatever, and they're just completely missing things that were on a ticket. Now, I will say out of all of these things, disorganization is also another one. This is a massive one that throws off a kitchen's rhythm. People throw around the term mise en place a lot, or just mise. I just say mise. I don't say mise en place at work. I'll just say what's the mise on this or whatever. And mise en place is a French term that means everything in its place for those of you that don't know. And it's essentially the concept is you want to have everything cut, diced, marinated, ready to frickin' rock and roll by the time service starts, whether that's 4:30 or 5 or usually it's around 5 or so, something like that. Mise is so much more than that. When you wake up, if you were to wake up early in the morning or it's dark in your room and you need to throw a pair of shorts on, you can get up and figure out where your dresser is and know where the shorts are pretty much with your eyes closed. You could do it at night. Most people can. There's people that can't, but there's plenty of people out there. It's like they know that their shorts are in the top drawer, and they know the dresser. They know the location of the dresser. They know what's on top of their dresser. They know where their phone is. You can reach over and grab your phone in the middle of the night when you wake up and you're going to start scrolling through TikTok for whatever fucking reason. The point is, you can find your way around your spaces that you're familiar with very easily. You should be able to do this on the cook line. You should know which drawer and which position has whatever, the scallops. On the cold bar, you should be able to I'm looking at the camera, I should be able to point to the asparagus. I should be able to point to whatever, the pasta or the sauce or whatever. You should be able to reach a level of organization in your section and on your station that you could technically do this with your eyes closed. Obviously, you're not going to because of safety concerns, but you should be able to close your eyes and put your hand on whatever, on the veggie or whatever. Now, within that, I want to talk a little bit about accountability. You go into your drawer and you don't have enough steaks. Whose fault is it? It's the fucking prep guy's fault, right? But it's your fault. Everything that happens in your station and your section is your fault. And people may not want to hear this, but the accountability falls on you that the steaks weren't in there. I don't care if there wasn't enough ordered. You should have done your line check and seen, we normally portion out 20 tenderloins, whatever. Or we portion, 10 6-ounce ribeyes and 10 8-ounce ribeyes, and I only have 6 of each. Should have caught that before service started, because then you can go into the walk-in, or you can go to the exec and be like, hey, I don't have enough tenderloins to get through the night. I'm supposed to have 20. There's only 12 in the drawer. We're gonna run out at like 6:30. Maybe you guys have the tenderloins, in which case then you can get those prepped before service started. And the prep person, they can get bitched at for their side of things and the things that they screwed up on. But you don't walk around blaming the prep person at 6:30 when you run out of tenderloins, when I know damn well that you reached into that drawer 11 other times to grab shit, and you watched the steaks getting lower and lower and didn't say anything. That's when it becomes your fault. Okay? Take care of your line, treat your line, have some ownership. Take ownership over your line and have accountability over the things that are on your line. Now, within that, being a team player is a big key to keeping the rhythm of the kitchen. Maybe instead of you doing this, maybe Frank never checks his line. And you know that like every single Friday night, for some reason, Frank runs out of steaks. We don't understand why Frank runs out of steaks, because after the first couple of times, he should know, like, okay, I need to do more steaks, or I need to make sure I have this many steaks, or I need to talk to the prep person and make sure this many steaks are being done, or the exec, or whatever. If you know that somebody on your line regularly struggles in a certain section, help them and assist them. Because at the end of the day, yeah, it's on them whether or not they get better or whatever. But two things about this. Okay, their failure ends up being the team's failure later on in night. I know that it is frustrating when you have a cook that seems like they're always running out of stuff, or it seems like they kind of don't know what they're doing. It's okay to be frustrated about that, but they are still a member of your team, and they are going to bring the kitchen down. So if you have the capabilities to step in and help them, then step in and help them. Do not just watch them flail and burn. I know that as an exec, my time as an executive chef, if I saw that another cook was doing this and they knew that so-and-so was going to run out of pasta and they didn't say anything and they were being like vindictive, like they have some kind of shit happening outside of work, that, drama or whatever. And so this person lets this other person flail and fall, right? If I see that, you know who I'm going to be upset at? I'm going to be upset at the one that wasn't showing that teamwork. I'm going to be upset at the one that is watching this person flail, and when it comes time for things like promotions for kitchen lead, sous chef, or whatever, that person's probably getting passed over, because what they told me is not only do they not believe in teamwork, but I can't trust this person. I can't trust this person to do what needs to be done to get through service. Yes, this other person needs to be talked to. They're struggling a lot. They're slipping. There's issues there. Okay. But at the same time, there is a teamwork side of this. We're all working together as a team. And if that teamwork and that trust isn't there, then the line's going to go down. In fact, let me know in the comments, do you have anybody that you work with either now or in the past? I don't want to get you in trouble, but has there ever been somebody that you've worked with that kind of did this kind of like passive aggressive, like they know that Bob struggles on something, and so they just kind of let Bob flail and like fall and crash and burn. Something else that can screw a kitchen's rhythm up is pacing. You're super slow. You think you're ready for a rush, and nothing's happening. You know, you get into this relaxed state. You start like talking to each other. Maybe somebody pulls out their phone and starts like scrolling through TikTok or whatever, and then boom, 20 fucking tickets back to back. The printer just starts going off. You know, calm night. You know, the waters are calm. And then all of a sudden, like, you can't believe it, but like the rail is like almost full. Like, how the fuck did that even happen? Caught flat-footed, right? So there's not a lot you can do about the lack of communication from the front or the pacing. You know, the exec and the sous chef can kind of talk to the front of house and work this out in the future, but the problem is that it's happening right now, and bitching about it and bitching at the front about the tickets that you're getting doesn't make the orders go away. Like, you still have to cook that frickin' food, right? So what I would suggest is, if it is I don't care if it's a Monday, be prepared. You know, Boy Scout style, be prepared. Always be prepared. Always assume that within a certain time window, you're going to be busy. You know, 2 p.m. on a Monday, probably not going to be busy. And if you are, they'll probably call ahead because it's some unique kind of thing. Most of the time when you are through, you know, that 11 to 1 kind of area, just assume to be on your toes and be ready. Because if you're on your toes, you're not flat-footed. You won't get caught. Make sure, you know, look over your line again. You know, even if you're partway through service and you notice that it's kind of not very busy and you're thinking like, man, if it stays slow like this for another 30 minutes, we're probably not going to get a rush today. If you say those words, you still want to look over your line, make sure you have everything, make sure you're ready to go. This actually happened when I was working in a family restaurant a while back. We had this thing called Cruise Week. And I told them, because I had experience with this before, I said, look, we don't get a very busy dinner rush. People are going to car shows. People are cruising up and down the strip. People are hanging out and partying and stuff like that. And then at like midnight or 11:30, because I was working like I was working like a 5 p.m. to 3 a.m. shift or a 10 to 6. 5 to 3 was on the week. Whatever. You don't care about my shift. At like 11:30, for some reason, everybody in the city decides it's time to go eat. And all of these drunk people show up, and we had a 250-seat restaurant, 6 cooks handling 250-seat restaurant when we were fully staffed. You know, at like they start coming in at 11:30. By midnight, the restaurant is full as fuck. And I told the people that haven't, even the people that were there for like 8 months that weren't there for the last cruise night, whatever cruise weekend, you're gonna feel like it's gonna be a slow night. You're gonna think this isn't happening. It's not gonna be busy. And I'm telling you right now that if you do that, you are going to crash and burn. We are going to be busy. So make sure to stay on your toes. Make sure to pay attention to what you have. Don't let yourself get too relaxed, and get ready for a rush. Do whatever you feel like you need to do. You know, pack extra stuff in the drawers, whatever. And every year without fail, at least one person, they would be like, I don't know, man. It's not going to happen. You know, it's really slow. Like, you know, we went through our whole dinner rush and like nobody was there and blah, blah, blah. And sure enough, they're the ones that get fucking buried, and I have to go finish my rail, then run over there to the other line and go help them. We had 2 lines. It like opened like a book. It was like this. It was like fryers, grill, flat top, basically. And, you know, so then it's like freezer drawers, cold bar, you know, whatever. And then we had like the waffle irons right in the middle. So we, you know, this side would get tickets and this side would get tickets, and that's how we handled the restaurant. So we would finish our stuff on our like our cook line, and then some people would have to go over there and be like, hey, where are you at? What are you missing? What do you need? You know, and their grill's all full of shit. It's got like random burnt fucking buns for some reason. They don't even have a hamburger on the line, like on the rail or whatever. You know, their fryer's disgusting. They got shit all over the flat top because they're trying to do omelets and egg dishes or whatever. There's some random shit in the microwave. You know, what the fuck ever, dude. It was just, it's a fucking nightmare. So a lack of trust can bury a cook line even on a slow day. To be able to trust the other cooks on the line, they need to be able to trust you. We all have our strengths and weaknesses, and one way to build that trust, if you're worried, Susan doesn't know how to do a steak to save her life. Okay, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, she's on grill, and you're coaching her. She's going to get better Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Then on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, play her strengths, put her back on appetizers where she was. But that first Monday, Tuesday, you're going to play weaknesses. Put her on the grill on the slower days of the week. Put Bob on appetizers because for some reason, Bob just can't get it together on apps. Like, there's been a few weekends and he just struggles and it's just, he can't do it, right? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, his ass is on appetizers. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday are your training days, right? Fuck the whole, it's slow or whatever, and then just letting people do whatever they want. Those are your training days. You're there coaching, helping, getting them better, getting everybody trained on all positions, even if they don't normally do that. Because when you hit that Thursday, Friday, Saturday, rush, not as much Thursday sometimes, but it can, Friday and Saturday, the weekend rush, because they did grill, they know that when a ticket gets called out that's got steaks on it, now they know in their head how long that steak is going to take, even if they don't call out a time on it. Everybody kind of just knows what's getting made, how it's getting made, what people need. Maybe you looked on the line and you'd notice there was no green onions. Now, on a normal day, no green onions on so-and-so station, you would just walk past it because it's like, oh, they must not need it, or I don't know what those green onions are for. Now, when you walk by and you notice there's no green onions and an order comes up that's got those scallions on it, you run to the walk-in, grab some onions. Hey, here's some onions for you. Little tiny stuff like that really helps tremendously building trust. Now, I'm not saying that you should be the gopher for everybody on the cook line. I'm just saying that you start to look at the cook line a little differently when you are then trained in other positions. When the grill guy gets to do saute for a little bit, garde manger does the flat top for a little bit, whatever. Inevitably, you're going to have a situation where you have a stack of tickets. You aren't getting out of this without walking out on your job. You need to understand that you're human and that you can't physically, even if you are Superman, the grill only cooks things so fast. The flat top only cooks things so fast. The people on your team are only so experienced. There's only so much that this line can turn out. So if you end up in a situation where you have a rail full of tickets, I actually have another video should be showing up top right about now, where I talked about this a little bit more and the things that can kind of cause a breakdown. At the end of the day, there's only so much you can do. Now, I'm not saying throw your hands up in the air and give up. Take a step back and breathe. It's okay for those tickets to fall another 5 minutes behind if it means that you will be able to organize them correctly, figure out where the appetizers are, group together similar items. Because the thing is when you get all these tickets all at once, pretty much everybody's expecting their food at the same time anyway. If you are able to look and you see, okay, well, there's one table that ordered toast, so whatever, I can just do that one right now. These 3 tables all have appetizers and it's all the same appetizers. Okay, so now you can throw 3 quesadillas down. 4 well-done steaks. You read down the line, you see the steaks, get those down. Whatever. I'm not going to sit here and tell you line by line how to do all of these tickets that I don't even have in front of me. But what I'm saying is take the time to patiently and thoughtfully read the tickets and go as far ahead as you can, as far ahead as you can manage. And if you can't manage it, try to get whatever help you can. If that means pulling the sous chef on or pulling the exec on so they can help a little bit, the exec's going to be grateful that you asked for help, more so than he's going to be pissed oh, you can't handle it. Because people that are in positions of leadership understand that we are only human. There's only so much we can do, right? You aren't weak. Now, if there's only 4 tickets up there, and you have a fully staffed line and you're asking for help, then you're kind of weak. I don't bullshit on this channel. You need to get better, right? But I'm talking you get 20 tickets back to back, the printer never stops going, and it's 3 top, 5 top, 6 top, 2 top, 4 top, 4 top, 4, shit like that. Of course it's going to be a problem. So just do the best you can. As long as you do the best you can and you are better than you were yesterday, in my book, that's a win. I also want to hear from you in the comments if you have any tips about kitchen rhythm. I also wanted to give a tremendous and huge thank you for the people that have been voting for me for favorite chef. I've survived 2 cuts so far, currently in 6th place, because people like you have been doing daily votes and going on. It's in the pinned comments right now for favorite chef. Now, you can pay for a champion vote, but you don't have to put your credit card information in or debit card information in. You don't have to pay to make these votes. You can do a free daily vote, and they basically just have you log into your Facebook and cast a vote. It's through Taste of Home and the James Beard Foundation. Just know that every single vote that you have given has made an impact. And like I said, if I get first place, there's going to be a $500 drawing from anybody that has made a comment on a video, even if they haven't voted, even if all they did was just say hi or whatever. I just wanted to say thank you for everything that you guys have done so far. The views on the channel, the subs, all of it. I do deeply appreciate it, and it does not go unnoticed. Anyways, if you're new to the channel, there should be a Restaurants Basics playlist showing up that's got a whole ton of videos on everything that you need to know. And as always, if there are any content that you want to see, that you want to know about, let me know in the comments, and I will be sure to do a video on it. I have my Serve Safe playlist still going. I've got another video that I plan on releasing later this week. Otherwise, you guys have an awesome day, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.